because their lists of books are just not very good. Like, where are the black books? Let's talk about another question that I get asked often, and that is, where do I get my books from? Honestly, if it's a newer book, I get the books that I want directly from the publisher. If it's a book that I've read before, but I've been wanting to add to my collection, I usually go to eBay first to try to find it from a secondhand store. And if I don't find it on eBay, I'll try Pango Books. If I can't find it on Pango Books, I'll try, what's the other one? Bookshop.org or Thrift Books. And if I can't find it from any of those sites, then I'll go to Amazon if it's a book that I really, really want. Oh, and also I will go to the library. If it's a book that I've been wanting to read for a while, but am kind of on the fence about buying it, I'll look on Libby or Hoopla first. I'll definitely check out my library, which does have kind of a good selection, but not the best. So really it's Libby or Hoopla if it's a book that I'm on the fence about. So I hope all that makes sense. But for the most part, if it's a new book or a newer book or an advanced copy of a book that I really want, I get those directly from the publisher. I do follow a lot of publishers, social media, and a lot of book tour social media pages, and I fill out a lot of influencer forms and just kind of book interest forms that I see on mostly Instagram. So that's how I get a majority of my books. And sometimes I do just happen upon a book at the bookstore. Unfortunately here I just have a Barnes & Noble. If I just happen to be in Barnes & Noble and I see a book that I haven't read yet, I will get it from there. But that's not very often. Okay, so influencer programs. I am in a lot of influencer programs. However, I do not get a lot of books through influencer programs, like at all. Another creator mentioned this in her video a couple of weeks ago, chocolate covered pages. It's like we're in these influencer programs and we're seeing the lists of books that are available, but none of them are by Black authors. So it's literally like exactly like what she says, like where are the Black books? So even though I'm in most of the major publishing companies, influencer programs, but I rarely ever get books from signing up to receive ARCs of whatever they have available for the month. I'm also in the Podium Advanced Listener program, but I have yet to use that program because their lists of books are just not very good. I've been reading a lot of really good books this summer, so let's talk about some of my favorite ones. And let's talk about some of the ones that I'm really looking forward to coming out this fall. Let's get into it. I Want Your Baby. Nina, please continue to give us this blackety black horror. I am so impressed with this author, like you don't even know. It had to grow on me as I was reading it, but I'm a big fan of Listen to Your Sister, especially chapter 36. I was like, Nina is a real one after I read that. I have a name for Nina's style of horror, but I'm not going to say it on here. The way this book starts off just pulls you right in with an interesting storyline and very dark humor. Lottie is hilarious, and the audio narrator did an excellent job of portraying her character. The only thing I didn't like was the abrupt point of view switch, because Lottie's story was getting so good, then all of a sudden we're somewhere else with a new character. But I love how the story came back around full circle, because there definitely was some confusion. Sometimes, especially with the audio, it could seem like the story was all over the place, but you just got to pay attention. I give this book a 5. This one actually surprised me when I got to the real plot of the story. I enjoyed the initial small town, weird and nosy neighbors mystery and the ghost scenes. And as the story continued to play out, I started to catch on quickly to what was actually going on. I like the setting and the time period that the story takes place in. I think it adds a lot of character and intrigue. One thing I did not care for was the plot twist. I mean, I like the plot twist, don't get me wrong. I just don't like how late it came up. I give this book a 4. So remember when I said I wanted to get back into fantasy this summer? This is the one right here. This is book 2 of the series, and if you've read book 1, then you know things are about to get real spicy in this one. I finished this book so fast. I can't really say anything about it without spoiling book 1, which is definitely a must read. But if you like plotting and backstabbing and cutthroat politics with your fantasy, you'll love this series. If you have been waiting for book 2, you are not going to be disappointed. 5 stars. I had the opportunity to read this early this summer by joining up with Reading Magazine and some other creators on Instagram as we did this little Sisterhood of the Traveling Arc thing with this book, where we each read and signed the same book as it came to us and passed it off to the next participant. I say all this to say that this book is thick. It is damn near 500 pages long, and I only had 4 days to read it and finish it before I had to send it off to the next participant. However, Leslie made it so easy. This book is a sci-fi thriller, maybe historical fiction, a little spooky, and a teeny tiny bit of Black romance in this wildly entertaining trip back in time to the year 1999, where payphones and chat rooms were still a thing. It's about a girl who swears she had a twin sister that disappeared one day, but nobody believes her. 5 beautiful stars. This was a sweet surprise. Tananarive announced it on her Instagram a few days ago, and I ran to Kindle Unlimited to download it. It's only about 65 pages, so I was able to finish it in about an hour or so. Really good, feel good story. It's about a girl with a magical capability who is traveling with her family to a settlement that is said to have its own magical capabilities, but instead they find some trouble. And it's read by one of my favorite audio narrators, Janice Abbott Pratt, who also narrates The Reformatory and guess what other book? Curdle Creek. 5 stars. Just talked about not really getting books from influencer programs, but I will say if it hadn't been for an influencer program email, I would not have known that this author was coming out with another book. And it's an author whose first book I really enjoyed and advocated for really hard on social media. And that is Sibo Campbell, who wrote Sky Full of Elephants, which was the book about all the white people in the United States one day waking up and walking into the nearest body of water to drown themselves. And so the world flourished without white people in it. So this is one of my favorite books. And had I known that this author was writing another book, I would have been on it. But it wasn't until I got an influencer email a couple of weeks ago that mentioned a galley of this book available on NetGalley. So of course I signed up for it and started reading it immediately. And so far, so good. If you are into possession horror and horror like The Conjuring and The Exorcist, I think you will really enjoy this story. I'm really enjoying it so far, and I'm hoping it continues to be really good. I'm really excited for this one. So if you saw my community post a few weeks ago, you would know that in partnership with Kensington Books and Marcus Redman, we're hosting a book tour of his newly released deluxe paperback edition of Blood Slaves. This came out so much better than I expected. Of course, it's not really showing up on camera, but this texture on the cover is this is great. And this is, like I was saying in the post, one of the first times I've seen a special edition horror book by a Black author. If you've seen one before, let me know which one so I can go check it out. But to my knowledge, this is one of the first ones. This is my first book tour, my first time working this closely with a big publishing company on something like this. So thank you to those who signed up for the tour. I can't wait to see your content, and hopefully we'll be able to get more special edition Black horror books like this. If you are unfamiliar with this book, it's about an uprising on a plantation after one man discovers a power that can help him and the other slaves overcome their masters and reclaim their freedom. However, this power comes from a dying line of powerful vampires and at a deadly cost. I gave this 3.75 stars. So Blood Rising is the continuation of Blood Slaves, and I am waiting until August 31st to start reading it. If you're wondering why that specific date, it's because in addition to hosting the book tour for the beautiful deluxe paperback edition of Blood Slaves, I am also hosting the official read-along. Well, I think it's official. The publisher asked me to do it. The official read-along for Blood Rising. If you apply to the Blood Slaves Deluxe Paperback Book Tour and reply yes to that one question, then you in the club. You are already on the list to join me in this read-along, and you'll also be receiving a finished copy of Blood Rising. But I'll have more information for you soon. Maisie Wood, I've been waiting for this to come out since she first mentioned it like years ago. And after receiving this book, I think I want to wait until it officially comes out to read it with y'all. I'm thinking it will be one of my main reads for October. I don't want it to be something that I just read through quickly and be done with it, because who knows when we'll get the next Tanana Reeve book. So I've been really wanting to get lost in a good fantasy. So I was pretty excited to get this one in the mail. It's perfect for this coming fall/dark academia season. And I know a lot of people weren't feeling Lure of the Tides and Lure of the Wilds, but I actually enjoyed that series. I saw the vision, and I think she executed it pretty well. I'm gonna give it a shot, and hopefully she improves from what she has done with Lure of the Tides and Lure of the Wilds. Forged in Fire, this one was already on my radar because it features a story from one of my favorite authors. It's a collection of speculative fiction stories like modern science fiction and fantasy by some really heavy hitters in the Black speculative fiction genres. We got Maurice Broaddus, M.H. Allende, Tanya K. Johnson, C.L. Clark, Sui Davies, Okunboa, W.C. Dunlap, Veronica G. Henry, Cherie Renee Thomas, Tanya R. Moore, Brent Lambert, Toby Ungunderin, Tate Thompson, Nelson Rowland, Eden Royce, Ebony Dunbar Scott, Vet Lisa Ndlovu, Amalia Harrington, and L.D. Lewis.